What if dinosaurs never went extinct? 66 million years ago, Earth stood one afternoon away from becoming a completely different planet. In our history, a mountain-sized asteroid ended the age of non-avian dinosaurs in a geological instant. But change one detail. The asteroid misses Earth by a few thousand kilometers. No Chicxulub crater, no global impact winter, no sudden collapse of dinosaur food webs. The first surprise is simple. Tyrannosaurus rex would not be walking around unchanged today. 66 million years is far too long for any species to remain frozen in time. Evolution would keep working, generation after generation, climate after climate, continent after continent. So this is not a world filled with museum dinosaurs. It is a world filled with their descendants. And the real question is not whether dinosaurs survive, it is what they become. Would giant herbivores still reshape forests? Would new predators control entire continents? Would mammals ever escape the shadows and build the world we know? Would primates appear at all? And if they did, would anything like us ever evolve? Or could a completely different kind of intelligence rise from the dinosaur family tree? To answer that, we have to replay the last 66 million years without the extinction. And the strangest part is that dinosaurs might not be the only survivors that change everything. The asteroid passes, and for most animals on Earth, that day feels completely ordinary. There is no wall of fire racing across continents and no darkness swallowing the sun. Plants keep photosynthesizing. Food chains remain stressed by climate and competition, but they do not suddenly collapse. That matters because large dinosaurs depended on enormous, continuously functioning ecosystems. Predators survive because their prey survives, and the ecological pyramid stays standing. But survival does not mean stability. The late Cretaceous world was already changing. Flowering plants were spreading, climates were shifting, and dinosaur communities were turning over. Some studies suggest dinosaur diversity was declining before the impact. Others argue the fossil record exaggerates that decline. Here, that uncertainty becomes fuel for evolution instead of the end of the story. Large tyrannosaurs might persist for a while, but new competitors would eventually replace many familiar species. Hadrosaurs, ceratopsians, ankylosaurs, and smaller feathered theropods would all face new selection pressures. Some lineages would shrink, others would become faster, more social, or better insulated. A few giant forms might vanish without any asteroid, simply because their environments stopped favoring giants. Others could become even larger, where food, climate, and competition still reward size. The age of dinosaurs continues, but it immediately begins turning into something we have never seen. In our timeline, the first few million years after the extinction opened vast ecological space for mammals. Here, those spaces are already occupied by animals with 100 million years of dinosaurian experience. Mammals do not disappear. They were already more diverse than the old tiny rat stereotype suggests, but many remain small, secretive, nocturnal, or specialized around niches dinosaurs use less efficiently. Daylight stays dangerous because large dinosaur predators still control many open habitats. This could preserve the ancient nocturnal bottleneck for much longer than in our history. That single difference would echo through the evolution of eyes, senses, behavior, and body size. Some mammals might still become excellent swimmers, burrowers, climbers, or gliders. But becoming elephant-sized on land would be much harder when dinosaur mega-herbivores already own that job. Becoming a lion-sized predator would also mean competing with fast, experienced theropod hunters. Evolution does not care which group is supposed to win. It rewards whoever fits the available niche. So the first big answer is already emerging. Mammals probably never become the default rulers of land. They survive, diversify, and sometimes thrive, but mostly under a ceiling set by dinosaur competition. That means the evolutionary path toward primates, apes, and eventually humans becomes far less likely. And we have only moved a few million years beyond the day the asteroid missed. As Earth enters the early Eocene, global climates become warm enough to push forests far toward the poles. In our timeline, mammals exploited those forests. Here, dinosaurs arrive first in many of the same ecological jobs. Small theropods could become specialized insect hunters, fruit eaters, nest raiders, and omnivores. Some plant-eating dinosaurs might become lighter and more agile in closed forests. Others could remain immense, wherever river valleys produce enough food to support them. The familiar Cretaceous body plans would split into dozens of new experiments. Some descendants might lose armor, others might exaggerate horns, crests, colors, or display feathers. Sexual selection alone could create animals stranger than anything preserved in the fossil record. Island populations would become especially unpredictable because isolation rewrites body size and behavior. On some islands, giant birds and non-avian dinosaurs might compete directly for food and nesting space. In the tropics, heat favors shade, water, and perhaps smaller bodies for some lineages. At higher latitudes, insulation and seasonal behavior become increasingly valuable. Dinosaurs already lived and reproduced at high latitudes before the extinction, so cold is not an automatic barrier. That becomes crucial later, when Earth begins a long cooling trend. The dinosaur world survives the greenhouse, but the next test will be winter. Around the Eocene-Oligocene transition, Earth cools sharply and seasonal climates spread. This is where the stereotype of dinosaurs as purely tropical animals fails. Fossils from ancient Arctic environments show that dinosaurs could live and reproduce through cold, dark seasons. So cooling would kill some lineages, but it would also reward insulation, metabolism, migration, and behavior. Feathered theropods gain an obvious advantage in cold regions. Large plant eaters may rely on bulk, fat reserves, seasonal movement, or specialized digestion. Some tropical giants retreat toward warmer latitudes as forests contract. Other groups evolve compact bodies and faster life cycles suited to shorter growing seasons. Eggs become a major evolutionary challenge in colder environments. Brooding, nest construction, and parental care could become even more elaborate.
I hear something in the snow.
Protect the eggs.
Predators follow prey into seasonal landscapes rather than disappearing from them. The result is not extinction, it is a new kind of dinosaur, more seasonal, insulated, and behaviorally flexible. Meanwhile, Antarctica begins freezing, permanently changing ocean circulation and global climate. Dinosaurs in the far south either adapt, migrate, or vanish regionally. For the first time, the planet starts looking less Mesozoic and more like a strange version of our own. As forests open, another force begins transforming life on land: grass. Grasses already existed near the end of the Cretaceous, but vast grass-dominated ecosystems expand much later. Open country rewards a different body plan from dense forest. Low browsing becomes grazing, and teeth face constant wear from tough plants and dust. Hadrosaur-like descendants are strong candidates to exploit these new feeding opportunities. Their descendants could evolve deeper batteries of teeth, stronger jaws, and more efficient chewing. Horned dinosaur descendants might become the heavy grazers of this alternate world. Armored lineages could persist as slow, heavily defended browsers around woodland edges. Where food is seasonal, migration becomes a continent-scale strategy. Predators now need endurance, speed, coordination, or ambush tactics to keep up. Some giant predators may disappear because they are too expensive to support in lean seasons. Medium-sized hunters could become the most successful carnivores on Earth. This is where the future starts favoring brains and flexibility as much as raw size. By the Miocene, our alternate planet could have dinosaur savannas instead of mammal savannas. And that changes every evolutionary story that, in our world, produced horses, antelope, lions, and elephants. If you expect Tyrannosaurus to remain king forever, evolution has bad news. Apex predators rarely stay unchanged for tens of millions of years. The most successful hunters may be descendants of smaller, faster coelurosaurs. Speed matters in open country, but so does endurance. Cooperative hunting is possible, but fossils cannot prove wolf-style packs in these descendants. Ambush specialists could evolve in forests, using camouflage and short explosive attacks. River systems might favor heavy-jawed fish-eaters and semi-aquatic hunters. Cold regions could favor compact, fully feathered hunters with wide feet for snow. Tropical islands might produce small, agile predators that climb or leap through dense vegetation. The most dangerous animal on Earth might therefore be smaller than T-Rex, but much more adaptable. And adaptability becomes even more important as climates swing into Ice Age cycles. A lineage that can learn quickly can change behavior faster than evolution changes anatomy.
Yes, well done.
That makes cognition an increasingly valuable survival tool. But intelligence does not automatically mean civilization. Before we imagine dinosaur cities, we need to understand what evolution actually rewards. Avoiding the impact does more than save land dinosaurs. Pterosaurs also cross the boundary in this scenario, at least at first. That could change the entire future of large animals in the air. Birds still exist, because birds are already dinosaurs, but their radiation may follow a different path. Some aerial niches that later produced giant soaring birds might remain dominated by pterosaur descendants. In the oceans, the story becomes even less certain. Mosasaurs and plesiosaurs also vanished at the real KPG extinction. Without that catastrophe, some marine reptile lineages might continue into the Cenozoic. That could make the later rise of giant whales far less predictable. Marine mammals could still evolve, but they would enter seas already occupied by powerful competitors. Even coral reefs and coastal food webs could be rearranged by different top predators. The point is not that every Cretaceous group survives forever. The point is that removing one mass extinction gives evolution millions of new starting pieces. Some will still lose, some will vanish, but the winners are chosen by a completely different tournament. By our human era, even the sky and ocean may belong to unfamiliar dynasties. Millions of years later, Earth enters the climate rhythms that will eventually produce repeated ice ages. These cycles would still punish specialists and reward animals that can move, learn, or tolerate cold. Some giant tropical dinosaurs finally disappear as their habitats shrink. Cold-adapted descendants spread into the empty space. Think less Jurassic Park in snow and more an entirely new radiation of polar dinosaurs. Some may grow thick feather coats, others rely on fat, size, or seasonal migration. Long nights make vision, hearing, and social communication increasingly important. Small predators could hunt under moonlight, inheriting the night from mammals instead of surrendering it to them. Mammals still have advantages in burrowing, live birth, lactation, and flexible thermoregulation. That allows mammals to remain successful even without becoming dominant. In isolated mountains, entirely new dinosaur species appear and disappear with every climate pulse. The planet becomes a mosaic: tropical dinosaurs, temperate dinosaurs, desert dinosaurs, and polar dinosaurs. By now, almost nothing resembles the Cretaceous except the basic dinosaur blueprint. T-Rex is long gone, just as its own ancestors were long gone before it appeared. The dinosaur age has not continued unchanged. It has evolved into a dinosaur Cenozoic. Now we reach the question that determines whether anyone is here to watch this world: primates. The ancestors of modern placental mammals existed before the extinction, so mammals still have evolutionary potential. But our exact primate story depended on ecological opportunities that opened during the Cenozoic. With dinosaurs still occupying many daytime niches, strict diurnal primates may appear later, or not at all. Large-bodied apes would face another problem. Growing big means entering dinosaur territory. Moving onto open grassland would be even more dangerous in a world of cursorial theropod predators. The path that eventually produced upright hominins may never begin. Even if some primates evolve, they may remain small forest specialists for tens of millions of years. No Australopithecines means no Homo erectus, no Neanderthals, and probably no Homo sapiens. That is not certain. Evolution is not a script, and alternative mammal lineages could surprise us. But recreating our exact sequence after changing the biggest land extinction in recent geological history is extraordinarily unlikely. So the most probable modern Earth in this scenario has no people, no farms, and no cities. New York is forest and wetland. London is woodland. Tokyo is a coastal ecosystem. Human history disappears before it starts. But one question remains. Could dinosaurs themselves become intelligent enough to take our place? This is where science must become cautious, because intelligence leaves a poor fossil record. A large brain does not automatically mean human-like cognition, and neuron estimates for extinct dinosaurs are debated. Recent claims that T-Rex had primate-like intelligence have been strongly challenged. So our candidate is not a genius Tyrannosaurus building cities. A more plausible starting point is a small, feathered, Maniraptoran-like theropod. It could combine good vision, grasping forelimbs, social behavior, and a relatively large brain. But even then, there is no law of evolution pushing it toward humans. Human intelligence required a rare combination of ecology, hands, development, social learning, and millions of contingent events. A dinosaur lineage could instead become crow-like, clever, social, innovative, but never technological. Or it could reach something beyond modern birds without ever discovering controlled fire. Fire is especially difficult for an animal covered in feathers and lacking human-style hands. Tool use might favor beaks, feet, and grasping forelimbs in combinations unlike anything humans use. Language, if it evolved, might rely on complex calls, posture, color displays, and movement. Civilization is possible only as a speculative branch, not the default ending. The most scientifically defensible answer is that dinosaurs could dominate Earth without anyone ever inventing a city. But suppose one lineage crosses the threshold into cumulative culture. The first revolution would be simple. Better tools passed from one generation to the next. Selection would favor finer grasping, better memory, longer childhood, and stronger social bonds. Over millions of years, forelimbs could become more dexterous even if they never look like human hands. Beaks could become precision tools for cutting, carrying, and shaping materials. Their earliest shelters might resemble giant nests more than human huts. Communication could mix vocal language with visual signals that humans would barely notice. Agriculture would be difficult if giant herbivores constantly invade cultivated plants. Domestication might target small dinosaurs, birds, or mammals rather than cattle and horses.
Time for work.
Metalworking would require controlled heat, forcing a feathered species to solve fire safely. Once energy use expands, technology could accelerate just as dramatically as it did for humans. Their cities, if they appear, might be low, open, ventilated, and built around different body geometry. Transportation might favor wide corridors and stable platforms rather than narrow stairs and chairs. None of this is predicted by fossils. It is an exploration of what anatomy might permit. And the most likely world remains the simpler one, a planet ruled ecologically, not technologically, by dinosaurs. By the present day, the continents still drift into roughly familiar positions. The Himalayas still rise from plate collision, creating rain shadows and high elevation habitats. The Andes still shape South American climates, but their slopes host dinosaur lineages we never knew. Africa still develops vast open habitats, but elephants and giraffes may never dominate them. North America could be a continent of migratory hadrosaur-like grazers and feathered pursuit predators. South America might preserve giant long-necked herbivore dynasties in productive river basins. Australia, isolated for long periods, could become an evolutionary laboratory of bizarre endemic dinosaurs. Antarctica may hold no land dinosaurs today, once permanent ice covers almost the entire continent. But subantarctic islands could support cold-adapted feathered descendants. Europe's forests might be broken by herds the way elephants shape landscapes today. Rivers would carry different footprints, different carcasses, and different nutrient flows. Forests themselves could change because giant herbivores alter which plants survive and where nutrients move. Many modern plants still evolve, but their defenses and growth forms may respond to different herbivores. There are no highways cutting migration routes and no farmland replacing entire biomes. The modern world is wilder and dominated by lineages that survived 66 million years of change. So which species rules this world? The scientifically honest answer is probably no single species. T-Rex does not rule it. T-Rex is ancient history even here. The real winners are likely entire dinosaur lineages that keep controlling large-bodied land niches. Hadrosaur-like descendants are strong candidates for abundant grazers and browsers. Ceratopsian-like descendants could fill heavy grazer and defensive herd roles. Smaller feathered theropods may become the most diverse predatory and omnivorous dinosaurs. Large apex hunters could come from any lineage that balances size, speed, senses, and energy cost. Birds remain the flying dinosaur branch, but they share the planet with far more dinosaur relatives. Mammals still matter, especially at night, underground, in trees, and perhaps in water. But the age of mammals never becomes the defining label of the last 66 million years. If one lineage becomes truly dominant through intelligence, the best candidate is probably small and manipulative, not gigantic. A troodontid-like or other maniraptoran-like starting body plan fits the story better than a tyrannosaur. Yet even that remains speculation, because evolution does not owe Earth a technological species. Ecological dominance is enough to transform the planet beyond recognition. The final answer is simple. This is not our world with dinosaurs. It is their world. If dinosaurs never went extinct, today's Earth would almost certainly not look like Jurassic Park. You would not see T-Rex chasing cars, because there may be no cars and no T-Rex. You would see 66 million years of continued dinosaur evolution, grassland grazers, polar feathered forms, tropical giants, specialized hunters, and strange island species. Mammals would still be successful, but probably less dominant in the biggest daytime land niches. Whales, elephants, lions, horses, and apes might never appear in anything like their familiar forms. And without the same primate pathway, humans are probably absent. No cities, no agriculture, no satellites. No history books asking why dinosaurs disappeared. If intelligence does rise, a small feathered dinosaur lineage is a better candidate than a giant predator. But human-level intelligence is not inevitable, and current science gives us no reason to pretend it is. The safest conclusion is ecological, not technological. Dinosaurs remain major rulers of land ecosystems. Their descendants would shape forests, rivers, nutrient cycles, prey populations, and even the evolution of mammals. The asteroid did more than kill dinosaurs. It redirected the future of nearly every ecosystem we know. Remove that one collision, and Earth does not simply keep the past, it invents a different future. One question remains: would another species ever look up and wonder what might have been?